Greetings, I'm Solidus-Skully, and now it's time to go to a brand new world again, by which I mean I stopped up in Traverse Town. But in actuality, I'm really just doing this so we can get to the final tier of worlds that we have to go through. In this case, it's the penultimate Disney world of the game, and why would I mean penultimate? Well, there was another one that you could access much earlier, but that requires a bit of extra doing and isn't entirely mandatory for beating the game. What that is, we'll talk about when we get there, but in the meantime, this is pretty much the final mandatory Disney world to get through. And, well, sort of mixed about it. A little bit more on the negative side than I am with Atlantica, oddly enough, despite the fact that this is probably one of the few Disney movies that I have any degree of history with. I'm pretty sure I've already talked about it to death on the Chain of Memories commentary. But hey, since I lost my memory from that one, apparently, because I had to jump in the freezing chamber, memory reparation pod, whatever, yeah, we're doing it again, baby. But in the meantime, we have yet another.
Oh, yes, we have another Gami ship. That level that we have to go through, except not really.
So, yeah, in a similar case to Monstro, although this encounter is mandatory and not one you can get at random, yes, we're about to be rammed by a bloody ship. Which, somehow has space travel. Well, then again, it's kind of obvious who it is if you've seen previous cutscenes, because this ain't no pleasure voyage. And I wish I could do that voice, but I can't. Also, it kind of looks like the game froze there for some reason, but, yeah. But, as you can see here, we're off to Neverland. Ba-na-ba-na-na, ba-na-ba-na-na, da-da-da-da-da-da-na-na.
I didn't think you'd come, Sora. Good to see you again.
Well, where are Donald and Goofy?
Are they that important to you? More important than old friends? Instead of worrying about them, you should be asking about her.
Kairi!
That's right. While you were off goofing around, I finally found her.
Not so fast! No shenanigans aboard my vessel, boy!
Riku, why are you siding with the Heartless?
The Heartless obey me now, Sora. Now I have nothing to fear.
You're stupid! Sooner or later they'll swallow your heart!
Not a chance. My heart's too strong.
Riku!
I've picked up a few other tricks as well. Like this, for instance. You can go see your friends now.
Ah!
Let's get underway already. And keep Sora away from Kairi until we're ready to land.
That scurvy brat thinks he can order me around.
What shall we do, Captain Hook?
Nothing! The hold is crawling with Heartless. Let them keep an eye on the brats.
But, Captain, you know who is also down...
Shh! Did you hear that, Smee? Oh, that dreadful sound.
No, Captain.
Are you quite sure? Did I imagine it? Oh, my poor nerves.
You don't say.
Yeah, it was definitely Kairi. I finally found her.
All right. Yep. Then let's go up and talk to her.
Yeah!
Sounds good. Okay, but first, how about getting off?
Oh, sorry.
How you doing there? Looking for a way out?
Who are you?
I'm the answer to your prayers. Okay then, fine. Have it your way.
But you're stuck in here too, aren't you?
Huh. No, I'm just waiting for someone.
Who?
Tinkerbell, what took you so long? Great job. So you found Wendy? Hold on. There was another girl there too? Are you crazy? There's no way I'm gonna leave Wendy there.
Aha! She must be pretty jealous.
Come on, Tink. Open up the door. I'm Peter Pan.
I'm Sora.
Okay, we're in this together, but only till we find Wendy.
Jesus Christ, Peter Pan is a Peter prick. Actually, I believe that was actually one of the criticisms Walt Disney had, because I believe he ended up not liking the Peter Pan movie he made, which was actually a bit of a story in and of itself, but apparently Walt Disney didn't like Peter Pan because he found the character unlikable. And given how the character is in the movie, I don't blame him, because, I mean, if Kingdom Hearts 1 is anything to go by, then Peter Pan in the original movie is a fucking dick. In fact, I think it's more apropos to call him Peter Prick. And the Off to Never Neverland, as you can see, the only exposure I have to this is, Metallica. But again, you won't be going to Neverland at all. In fact, all you really have is Captain Hook's ship, and, like, a little area of London that we'll be getting to next time. Not necessarily Wendy's house, but just London. On the outskirts of, Big Ben, which is it still shut off from, like, repairs or something, or was that a couple of years ago? Whatever, I haven't been out in 60 years, or however many times this COVID crisis is going on. Let's fucking date the video even further. Well, I mean, I kind of already did, since I brought up the death of Joey Jordison a while ago, so... whatever. 2021, people. It's a shit-tastic year for a shit-tastic decade that is probably gonna result in us all scavenging this Thread-style nuclear winter where everybody dies and nobody will see these videos anymore. Yeah, well, at least the survivors will envy the dead. But yeah, in the meantime, the tale of Peter Pan is something that's about as old as time itself, really. Created by J.M. Barrie in the wonderful year of... Actually, I barely fucking remember. Hang on. Well, the early 20th century, really. I think it was initially a play before it was, anything else, but again, it was basically the story about Wendy and her brothers John and Michael, off to Neverland, and it was basically a story about Wendy mothering them, fearing the ever-pressure of growing up, and of course Peter Pan being a Peter prick, what makes the red man red, fighting against Captain Hook, and just doing a bunch of different shit, really. And again, truly a wonderful tale, and something that actually did go through a fair few revisions, actually. Originally, well, again, to kind of talk about a few original concepts, Tinkerbell was initially called Tippy Toe, which, yeah, that's certainly something to consider. It's quite frightening. And, I did have some trivia that I was going to state, but, I suppose not. Well, I think I might have brought this up in the Chain of Memories commentary, actually, but I think it does kind of bear repeating here. Like, I mean, there are a lot of creepy takes you can put on Peter Pan. Like, I mean, namely the fact that there's this, like, boy who never wants to grow up, kidnapping children, taking them to a place where they themselves will never want to grow up, enraptured by the idea of basically do whatever the fuck you want, freedom fun. And, well, I don't know, just a lot of potential for horror that I'm sure plenty of bits of media have probably, you know, done stuff with over the years, but again, it's, something to think about, really. Also, apparently I heard in the original, literature, actually, that Captain Hook was meant to be a fearsome pirate that, yes, even Long John Silver was said to fear. So, yeah, that kinda goes to show exactly what that entails. You might be noticing right now that Sora seems to be a little bit more acrobatic with his Keyblade swings, and that's because, I can't quite remember what ability this is, but again, it's something that I believe you get, once you start getting up in levels, but, yeah. I think it's like this little, spinning motion that he has. You'll see it right here, but... Well, not that, really, but... Again. That's basically what happens when you get combo plus additional hits, and, yeah, especially late game. I believe you get these abilities earlier on when you, you know, choose a sword over defense, but... Yeah. Sora does become much more of a master, and... Again, like, I mean, even though it is more so tied into specifically gameplay-related things, again, it is cool to see the dude, you know, grow in power and abilities as the game goes on. But I suppose I should probably stop talking about random trivia and talk about the level itself. Again, like, I mean, you do get to explore a fair amount of the ship. Not that the very samey-looking level design really shows you anything. Like, I mean, the fact that you're seeing, like, some mist in the bowels of the ship is probably about the most in terms of artistic fidelity that you get to see the ship do, but again, the less said about that, the better. I mean, the only real interesting thing that you get to see is that Sora's shadow, the shadow of the Sora, the real one, not the fake one that somebody told me Darkseid was many years ago. Yeah, that's pretty much the only thing that kind of spices things up, really. Apart from that, it's just wood, scurvy-ridden decks. You're not, like, I mean, apart from Shmee, Actually, wasn't that the name of Anakin's mum in The Phantom Menace? Whatever. Like, I mean, you don't see anyone else of Captain Hook's crew, so I'm guessing he probably shot them all for playing the accordion or some shit. Don't even know. Oh, by the way, interesting fun fact I learned here. Apparently there was an original line in the play where apparently the Lost Boys could, fly in Neverland. Apparently J.M. Barrie changed part of this in the original play script, because apparently a lot of kids started to imitate that by jumping off the beds attempting to fly and, hurting themselves. So, yeah, dumb shit exists among all ages.
What? So Wendy's not one of the chosen ones?
There are 7, supposedly. And Maleficent says she's not one of them. Hoist anchor as soon as possible. Leave all the dead weight behind, including her.
After the trouble of capturing her? And why those 7? What is Maleficent planning anyway?
Who knows? As long as it means getting Kyrie's heart back, I couldn't care less.
You're wasting your time. The Heartless have devoured that girl's heart. I'll stake me other hand it's lost forever.
I will find it, no matter what.
Captain?
What?
The prisoners have escaped. What's more, Peter Pan is with them.
Blast that Peter Pan. All right then. Bring the hostage to me cabin, Smee. Hop to it.
And thus explains Captain Hook's motivation, even if a bit of a shit one.
Peter? Peter Pan?
Wendy!
Please, hurry! The pirates are coming!
What? I'll be right up there. Just hold on.
Wendy?
Yes?
Is there another girl in there with you?
Oh, why, yes. But she seems to be asleep. She hasn't budged an inch.
Kyrie? Kyrie!
Wendy! Hey, let's get up there.
Seems that Kyrie responds to Sora. Could it be their love? No, because Sora doesn't love Kyrie. She's a girl, and girls are icky. He needs Riku with strong, manly touch. But no, there is a very specific reason why Kyrie responded to Sora. Unrequited love? Or perhaps the metaphysical concept of a heart responded to her. Like a body that hath no heart. A nobody responding to its vessel. Don't worry, Kyrie. We'll save you. And yeah, I thought similar to the accessory shop back in Traverse Town, you could interact with that fire, but no! I was wrong. So yeah, these Heartless dressed in pirate garb, I guess, make up Captain Hook's crew. And a question I was going to ask earlier before that cutscene kind of clued me in is that, what exactly was Captain Hook's motivation for joining up with Maleficent and all these other Disney villains? Because, like, I mean, compared to Spooky Boogie, who seemed to be interested in power, it seems like Captain Hook had absolutely no reason to join in on all this. In fact, the only thing, at least from that cutscene, what it indicated to me was that Captain Hook was only ever interested in capturing Wendy, who I guess was suspected of being a Princess of Heart before Sora confirmed it, and I guess maybe since his ship could traverse across time and space, that maybe Maleficent thought he could be of use and therefore lied to him, maybe? I don't know, like, I mean, a lot of the Neverland stuff in other games in the series don't really seem to bring it up all that much. I mean, I don't necessarily know about, 358 Over 2 Days, other than, again, that's technically a sequel, so that takes place after this. But, I mean, in Birth by Sleep, there is no real interaction between, any of this, really. Well, I mean, there is interaction, obviously, because, I mean, Captain Hook does interact with, you know, Terror and all that, but I don't know, I'm just sort of racking my brains trying to figure out exactly why Captain Hook went along with all this. Because, like, I mean, compared to everyone else, it seems more like Riku's the one who's actually in charge, and Captain Hook probably wouldn't take kindly to his interference, but, you know, Riku's one of the main characters, he has powers of darkness, so yeah, I guess he's just sort of got stuck with everything and didn't really realize what he was getting into until he basically became the chew toy of the Disney villain crew, Homie G. And again, this is of course another example of a mandatory you know, Trinity thing that you have to activate. Again, there's no way around it, so, yeah. Sorry. No, but anyway, I will say in the meantime that unlike Atlantica or, you know, Halloween Town or the Pinocchio level, again, it's not convoluted in the slightest to navigate. Like, I mean, you do have a very specific set linear path for you to, you know, find your way through. So again, like, I mean, the level is short enough so that you can pretty much get things done in as quick an access as possible, but it's, I don't know. The level itself is just a little bit meh. Has a few sparks of intrigue to keep it going, but you're not really doing too much, and it doesn't really cover anything to do with Peter Pan's plot. In fact, unless 358 over 2 days does anything different, then none of the games ever really cover it that much. I mean, Birth by Sleep tries. In quotation marks, it does sort of try, I guess. Not really, but I don't know. There's not really much to do with Peter Pan, except I guess maybe Tetsuya Nomura found the Neverland plot interesting, or at least the concept in a psychological kind of way. Who knows? Maybe he wants to never grow up and exist in a world forever and ever and ever, because Japanese RPGs. But anyway, to talk about shadow clones right here, we now have the Shadow of the Sora. There's one real one to attack, and it's basically a Matrix Path of Neo kind of debacle. Defeat the clones, find the real one, attack him. He won't do that flash of light attack that slows everything down. And if you don't know which one to hit, try the ugly one. I really don't have much to say on any of this. It's pretty much just sort of a waste of time. Sora's shadow will pretty much vanish, and bada bing, you'll do the thing, and J.M. Barrie will be very Sally. I don't know. Although, to comment a little bit more about the inspiration of Peter Pan, I think I might have gotten this detail wrong when I talked about it in Chain of Memories, but yeah, I believe J.M. Barrie based the whole tale of Peter Pan on his older brother, who basically went off ice skating and ended up tragically passing away. And based on the comments of his mother being forever a boy, well, that's pretty much where the origin of the tale came from. And I suppose there is a lot of pain that you could attribute to that, like, I mean, the whole concept of, you know, Neverland being a sort of heaven for, well, little kids to, you know, wrestle, jump, and play, so yeah, a lot of intrigue that can be derived out of death, life, and, well, the metaphysical concepts that come with the mind, and how it deals with death on a daily basis. Well, relatively speaking, of course, it could have just as easily been, yes, I'm an old British man in the 1920s or 1900s, yes, spotting tea, what? Ah, yes, I shall write a play that will entertain children, hopefully make them jump off their bedposts and die. But yeah, that's the end of The Shadow of the Sora. Except not, because Darkseid is contractually obligated to appear in every ever the game of the Kingdom Hearts. So I'm Solidus-Skully, keep it new metal, and I'll catch you next time for the finale of the Neverland Saga.